Hey there, welcome. This is Colin Eves with the first part of a 3-part mini-series which is going to show you how to at least triple your productivity of your most important work. And the work that's not just important to you, but also important to the future of your organization. Now that might seem like a very big claim, but this strategy is solidly backed by science, and what science is now telling us is the optimum way to create and produce our very best work. I call this strategy the productivity rocket. And each video shows one step in the 3-step process, and when you put all 3 steps together, then boom, it's going to send your productivity into the stratosphere. Well, perhaps not quite, but it's going to at least triple your productivity, and I'm going to tell you why that should be so in the last video. But for now, I don't actually want you to believe a single word I'm about to teach you. I want you to prove things for yourself, and that's why at the end of each video there is a takeaway action step which you can use and implement in the real world to test things out for yourself. So how does that sound? Good? Excellent. Well, let's get to part 1 of this series.
Here's the thing. You've got 10 or 100 important things to do today or this week. Honestly, what are your chances of getting them all done? What are your chances of getting any of them done? Most likely very slim. You might even feel that you're going backwards. In fact, science is now showing us that trying to get things done with such a blanket approach is in fact biologically and neurologically unnatural. No wonder so many suffer with severe bouts of overwhelm and stress. Here's a much more natural and effective approach. Stage 1 of the productivity rocket is the need to elevate your important few. The key is in those 2 words, important and few. And by elevate, I mean that you need to have a laser-like focus on the few most important strategic priorities that contribute the most value to the success of what it is you're trying to achieve. So here's what I'd like you to do. Oh, and by the way, this process we're going to go through now will work brilliantly for any area of your life, but for now we're just going to stick with your executive role. To start off, simply sit quietly and in peace for just a few moments, and then when you're ready, on an A4 sheet of paper, brain dump your most important functions. The things that you do in your role that propel you and your organization forward the most. These are your most valuable strategic priorities. Write down everything that you do that matters. Now, just a caveat here. When you first have to stop writing and need to think, as you will, finish the exercise there and then, because believe me, everything else that might come afterward will not be that important. Okay, so then with your list, what I want you to do next is to pick the 3 most important functions from everything you've written down. Just 3, not the many, but the 3 few most important. The 3 areas that when you get to do them, provide the most value and accelerate your goals and contribution the most. And the 2 questions I have for you now are this. How much of your time do you currently and actively engage in those strategic, most valuable priorities? How about this one? How much time are you planning to engage in those responsibilities today, this week, this year? If the answer is something like very little or none or 50-50, then consider this. In reality, you're spending more time and more focus on the things that don't provide the most value and don't accelerate things forward for you the most. If that's what's happening, it's kind of crazy, don't you think? It's almost a form of self-sabotage. And then we all wonder why we're not making progress, while getting overwhelmed and feeling all that stress piling up.
So again, the key is to elevate your most valuable and most important priorities. You've got to start focusing on them, and more importantly, start engaging with them on a regular basis, weekly, daily, yearly. The more you do that, the bigger your results and the greater your fulfillment. In fact, I don't know if there's anything more that will transform your productivity than this one key strategy. Which now brings me to part 2 of this video series. So I'm just going to give you a little bit of a heads up, because we're going to look at these 3 core priorities and we're going to make them your non-negotiables, because we're going to be looking at distraction, or how to deal with distraction, how to deal with this assault on our senses, on our attention that seems to be going on incessantly in this busy world. So distractions like email, mobile technology, and the worst of the lot, other people. We're going to deal with them in the next video. So I'll see you then.